reduced the maintenance cost drastically. But the only problem was a tester had to be a programmer to use model-based testing. And testers are tested not because they want to be tested, because they don't want to be programmers. They want to test. They don't want to write programs. So as an organization, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. What do? Do you get a tester to write scripts? In that case, they're a programmer, and their heart really isn't into programming. They really want to write. They won't want to test. So over the years, having seen all the issues, we came upon this concept of AiTestPro. What AiTestPro does is, today, while I am testing, I have to run the manual test case once, at least once, twice, thrice. And if I am doing the manual test case, why can't I take the manual effort and convert it into an automated test script? That's the whole concept of AiTestPro. So as the developer, as the tester at sprint level starts to test their first set of code, that becomes a script that is fed forward and merged into the main test artifacts in a Git-like fashion. So you keep merging forward. So right off the get-go, as soon as the developer is testing their code, you have your first automated test script generation to retest over and over again. So this is the whole concept. And besides that, we also made it your framework agnostic. So the same artifact can run on a Selenium, can run on Protractor, can run on Ruby, without you having to write one line of code. So that's the whole concept of where we're going. And to help me in this, I have two of my able developers assistants, Rakesh from India, who will be sharing his screen, and Siddish will work on the back end. You'll also answer any questions at the end if you want. So jumping on to the next agenda, a very brief introduction. We get into three-step automation, high level of how it works, the features, and then into the demo, which is what you really want to see. Summarizing Idea Bytes, we've been in the business for the last 13 years. And one of the verticals that we have is automation and pen testing. So we don't do this as a service. We actually develop a lot of the tools and techniques to support the products we've developed and in-house. So we have numerous products that are commercially deployed, that are cloud-based, used globally, and we had to test it. We had to make sure they're secure. And in that effort, we came up with tools which we thought other companies could use. So we are over 100-person team. And we focus on quality, we focus on customer service and satisfaction. That's our guarantee. So whoever works with us, this is what we give. And our products are 24/7 supported. And we have big names like Cisco, RBC, USD, Reckitt Beckman, and Keysight. They're all our customers. They use us because we are not there to be a body shop. We are there to deliver high quality and efficiency to the company. But today, if you look at where your test automation challenge is, if I look at the end of sprint 1, there are next to 0 test cases automated today. At sprint 2, there is something. At sprint 3, sprint 4 is growing, but the gap, by the time you release, is still very, very large. And this is because the automation script comes as an after fact, after the code is ready, after the manual testing has been done. Now you start to write scripts. And I'd like to change the paradigm in this whole concept of AiTestPro. That we have to change the paradigm to go 0 coding. How can I get test automation with 0 coding? And I think this is going to be value for everybody in the business. Why should I code? Why should I have to update my code every time there's a change in the libraries? It is really not the way to go. This is expensive, this is painful, and it leaves your product hanging because there's a gap. There's always a gap between when you are ready and by the time you're ready and the time you're ready to go to operate. So this is a major issue. So the whole concept is, as soon as I am generating my first unit test steps, I'm also generating my test artifacts automatically. When I say test artifacts, it means I'm describing the steps required to test the feature. And these steps are then converted into scriptless artifacts, which that are executable. And that's the most important, it's executable. The bottom line, you improve your product quality, you maintain timelines, and reduce time cost. So just to give you an example of the amount of time you do save. Today, an average test case is about, automation is about 4 hours effort. With AiTestPro, you're dropping this down to 15 minutes. Yes, it's 15 minutes. It's no joke. It's serious. 15 minutes, you have your first test case in execution. So AiTestPro has 3 steps. Scanning. As you are testing the code, a plugin on your browser is recording every step that you do. So it knows for every request, what is the response on the web page. That's the first basic step. And in this step, the biggest challenge most automation has is XPath, relative or absolute. How do I capture the XPath? It's painful. AiTestPro captures it automatically. And the nice part is when you rerun the test script, if the XPath has changed, AiTestPro updates
This
it and
meeting
gives
is
you
being recorded.
It gives you a warning saying that your XPaths have changed. Do you want it or not? Sorry about that. So that is the key power, is that you don't have to worry about deltas, and if something is missing, it gives you a warning. It says, "Yep, this has changed. You want to accept it, or do you want to raise a bug?" All that is part of the infrastructure. So big question is, why do we talk about web pages? Because this is the de facto place where the world is going. Everyone is going to web browser-based services, because the key reason being they only have to worry about one code base they have to manage. That's the cloud servers. And this is the place we decided to invest our funds, to come up with solutions that really make it easy to test web applications. We can also do Windows-based applications, but that's on the bottom of our priority list. The test cases all the test steps are now stored into a database, and we generate a test artifact for the testers in Excel format. They're familiar with it, it's readable, it's usable, it doesn't require any programming knowledge. So the value is, I create an artifact template in Excel format. The brains are sitting in the database. If the tester wants to update data on the template, on the Excel sheet, they can. And that is uploaded back into the database and revalidated. So once that is done, I am able to generate my test steps. I can execute it straight from the browser plugin or from our backend, AiTestPro backend, either place, where you can plan your execution on a regular basis. Regression test suites can be run. It's a full setup which allows you to automate your test cases from as development starts, generate the test suites, and migrate them forward into a merged Git style merge forward, and execute them directly off the plugin or of the backend. As I was saying, the heart is a database that's stored in the cloud. Or if you do have the deployment in your corporation, it's stored on your server in your corporation. The plugin starts with, tell me your test flow name. This is part of this software testing lifecycle. Phase one, what are the requirements and what are the flows that have to be tested? So the tester has the flow names that they have to test, then to enter the flow name over here. You then go and see whether it's a positive scenario or negative scenario. And what prerequisites have to be run if the test case has to be run standalone. Yes.
Sorry, George, to interrupt you.
Yeah.
There's something on the screen while you've been presenting saying that this meeting is being recorded. It takes up more than half the screen. We don't see the slide.
Just maybe it's on your screen. Could you please try pressing continue? Hello, Sandra.
Yeah.
Have you tried? Because I mean, for me, for instance.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay.
Yeah. And also more important, it links it to the requirements itself, so they can generate a traceability matrix. And then it says start, and while you're performing your steps on the browser windows, it's recording. When you finish recording, it says stop. Now, just because we got a response on the page, it doesn't mean that this is correct. So, for example, if I were doing a testing a bank interface, I log in and I say, "What's my bank balance?" The system can say $1 million, but in reality, you only have $100,000. How do you verify that? So we have a cross-verification option. So if every variable on the response can be cross-verified against a database, against another web page, against a log file. When you say log file, why would that be important? So if you, for example, have a insurance claim system where you have to upload your certificates, your receipts, you can actually SSH to a server if it's being stored on the server, verify yes that the receipt file was stored correctly and the files are identical. Or if it's stored in a database as a blob, you verify the blob and the database and the upload was correct. So you're able to cross-verify every field in the system. And it also allows you to put it as, so if you, again, test against a database, you can verify from a database by putting a query over here. Put the query and you can feed it. It also works with data from alternate sources. So this is one set of data, but he's okay, please link this to a data file, cross-match the fields, and you're now running it against the database of your choice. So you can iterate through one set of data, multiple sets of data, your choice. But it now puts you in a place where you've written zero code and executing your test cases. So the artifacts that we generate is an Excel sheet. Has all the test cases for the project right there. The brown fields describe as the metadata for the test case. The orange fields are the requests, and the blue fields are the responses. The XPaths are there, and each field has a yes/no saying, should I validate this or not? So if there are 1,000 fields and you only care about 3, you just enable 3. If you want to enable all 1,000, you enable all 1,000. But what we've done now is the tester, in simple tools that they use, Excel, common denominator for every tester, they're now able to have a test artifact which they understand. If they make a change, they can upload it, and AiTestPro will verify that it is correct. And your effort to create test steps have been reduced significantly. Now that your test artifacts are done, you just say, please execute. Now you can execute this on browser of your choice. It can be Chrome, Firefox, Explorer, Safari, your choice. You can say on what server do you want to run this, whether it's a Linux server, whether it's a Windows server. So you have the full power to execute the test cases on any environment. And you see the log file. And if there's a fault, you can raise a ticket in Bugzilla, in Jira, or the bug tool of your choice. And it will not duplicate the bug already exists. You will not get duplicate bugs. It will just update saying, okay, try it again and failed again in the bug itself, and update the ticket. And if you are, so this is on the left is on this onto the plugin. And if you want to manage all your projects from a central console, there's a dashboard where you can see all your projects. You can execute the tests on a regular basis from this interface. You can see the results. You can see the hotspots, and you can get automated reports on a daily basis. So you have the best of both worlds. The tester can just work off the browser. The senior managers, testers can review this at the dashboard level. So summarizing the whole engine, basically what we've done is we made it like a CD player. All your test suites are like a CD. You put it into your player and say play. Now it doesn't care which library you want to choose. You can choose Protractor, you can choose Selenium, you can choose Ruby, you can choose. We provide you the library to play the test cases. Libraries are updated. We update the library. It's completely seamless to you. Loggers of your choice. Fault trackers, Jira, TFS, Bugzilla, you name it. It's there. It's simplified. So as a test environment, you only care about the artifacts. It carries forward no matter what comes up next. You can have a new framework. The same artifacts work. If you look at your existing test scripts, if you want to migrate from one framework to the other, it's mission impossible. Very expensive possible. And in an organization, it's very hard for two groups to agree on which is a better framework. Some will prefer Selenium, some will prefer Protractor, some will prefer Ruby. And this gives you the best of all the worlds, because now the same scripts will run on their choice and they're happy. And all this has been done without writing a single line of code on your side. Yeah, you have to write the SQL queries for cross-verification, yes, but that's where it stops. Not only that, API testing, this is a big challenge for most companies. We want to test APIs. The same thing works for APIs in the Swagger framework. Why Swagger and not Postman? Swagger is web-based, easily done, and it's very easily implemented in an organization. You put your API in the Swagger framework, and AiTestPro is testing that seamlessly. Now, you heard me talking for the last 20 minutes. I think the next 20 minutes we'll dedicate to the demo. I'm going to stop sharing. Pavan, can you share your screen? And
yeah. Thank you, Josh.
Sorry, Pavan, Rakesh, my mistake. I apologize. So here we're going to demonstrate testing one of our sites at one of our clients. And they're a toll processing client. They have they're a toll collections client. So this is in British Columbia. No, I think Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. Washington State, correction again. So we tested this. So Rakesh, take it away and show your plugin and show recording your test case.
Good. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Rakesh. Now I'm going to demonstrate about AiTestPro plugin. As George said, we need to follow 3 steps for generating the scriptless automation. First one is scan, second one is generate, third one is execute. Now I'm going to show how can scan the test cases. I will show you. First one, we need to launch our AiTestPro plugin from the Chrome extension. Next, need to mention our test case name, which one we are going to scan. So my test case name is add contact. Next, we have the two options. One is a positive case and negative case. So I will go with the positive case. Next option is prerequisite. For executing this test case, which one is you need first? So I need login. The last one is the requirement. Here you can add anything requirement for a particular this test case. And I'm going to start my recording. Yeah. Once you click on the particular widget or element, it will capture this request and this particular response. These responses are we can see here: span, update my contact, and anchor tags. One is the account information, second one is the vehicle information, and next one is the transponder information with all the things: XYZ positions, font size, color, all things we can capture. This is the one of the step in the particular test case. Now I'm going to submit this one. Yeah. This is the second step in the add contact test case. Here also we will capture all the things: contact list, account number, IP, one thing, all the things.
All the elements. All the
elements we can capture here. Home, here we can see add new contact like this. So this is the validate. It is automatically selected as yes. If you click on no, when the execution time, the scanner will not treat as this is the execution element.
But this is, you say by default you can say no, and then afterwards you can re-enable it. You're not locked into being stuck.
Yeah. Same thing. 3 steps is completed. This is my 4th step. I'm filling my all the details. So after filling all the details, I'm submitting this form. It will capture the requests and the responses after submitting this form. Yeah, we have the success. The form is submitted. I'm going to submit this step 4. So in this way, I recorded the add contact test case. I'm going to stop my test case. Then I have the second step, generate.
You initial the cross verify, yes.
We will show you in API testing.
Okay, very good. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you see, you'll see all your projects that you are allowed access to is shown over here.
Yeah. And the project versions, sprint versions. After selecting all these details, we can generate our test scripts, means Excel sheet. Yeah. If you click on this view, it will be downloaded to your system here. I'm opening this one. Yeah. Make payment. These 3 test cases I have recorded previously. Yeah, this is the add contact. I recorded 4 steps. First one is the open URL for all the test cases. Update my contact information, add new contact, and the information, and the form information in the 5th step. This orange color indicates, as George said, this is the request and the export of the particular widget and the values of form. We have the exports for each element. Yeah, here is the action for each widget name. Click button, select drop down, and the XY positions of the all the elements. Yeah, here is the last step in the request. We have the execute. If you click on the no and a validate button, it will be changed to false. So at the time of execution, the engine not treated as this is the execution element. So it is ignoring that time. If all elements true, it will be treated as this is the execution element. Similarly, we have the responses for each request. We have for seven responses for first step, 26 responses from second step, 54 responses from third step. Yeah, these are all the details in the form. Last step. Yeah, mobile, all the things like this. We can capture all the records on a particular test case, and we can generate our Excel. And the main thing is we can capture the export of each widget.
Relative or absolute? It is be
Yeah,
your choice, be one of the configuration parameters, which one you want.
yeah. And suppose after generating the Excel, we need to modify our details. We can change here like this. Like this, we can change false, and we can upload our Excel to system. So it will be treated as a new Excel, and it will be work on this Excel only. And this is the one of the data set in that particular test case. If you run that test cases with a different data set, we can simply just copy this data set and paste here. This is the data set 2. Then here we can change all the data what you want. Suppose I'm changing Satya to some Lima, like this. We can change the all the values of particular widget in that particular form. We can upload this Excel to AiTestPro. It will be work with the 2 data sets.
Yeah, and the other option is to link a data file to execute also. This is another option. So instead of doing this, you can have a data file that will drive it. So these are 2 options that you have. Okay, so let's go to execute the test cases. And
yeah, last step is the execute. Here we have the options for selecting the platform to execute the test cases. We have the multiple platforms. I'm choosing Selenium, and the OS, Linux, and the browser I want to execute in Chrome. This is the option for execute all or yes or no. If you click yes, it will be executed all the test cases. If you click on the no, it will ask the which test case you want to execute. So I'm executing all the test case.
as each step is executing, you'll see it also gives you the time for each step it takes. So you start to get performance parameters already as you are doing your first set of tests. How long does each step take?
Yeah. We are setting up the Chrome driver, launching the browser, setting up Selenium. We have the total 4 test cases. First one is the open URL. It is in stock. Then validating is started. It is passed. And the responses. It is checking the responses. 22 responses are there. It is checking one by one whether that particular responses elements are existing in that page or not. So once the 22 steps completed, the first step is passed. Second is test case is login. Third test case is make payment. Yes. Here it will be showing as click on yes button. Step 1 validating dataset 1, step 2 dataset 1, and step 3 is clicking on yes button, and the fourth step is validating the responses. what we captured at the time of scan.
So like you see, so normally you take about 4 test cases, 10 to 12 hours. In less than 15 minutes, you have your test cases created and they're executing, and they're really executable over and over again.
Yeah, this is the add contact 4th test cases. It is started for execution. Click on the add contact information button. This is the first step in that particular test case. Yeah, it is reflecting what we have done in the browser.
And see, it took 17 seconds to do the entire transaction.
Yeah. Here we have 54 responses, means when we click on the add new contact button, we get the form. So in the form, each widget is captured. So it is validating the each widget. And for that one, it is taken as a time milliseconds only. Everything in the milliseconds only. Yeah, here it is showing enter first name, last name. What are the details we have entered here? Yeah. So once the script execution is done, it will gives the log file to us. Yeah, this is the log file. Yeah, for open URL and the verification, everything. Login, make payment, add contact.
Yeah. So Rakesh, running out of time, so can we go to the API testing, because we got 9 minutes left, and I'd like to leave 5 minutes for question and answers at the end.
Yeah, here we can see the results. Yeah, now I'm going.
So this is the test APIs.
Yeah, this is the API testing Swagger platform. Here we can test our APIs also. For this one, I'm choosing my project version, project details, everything. Version, sprint version. Stop open URL. Yeah, it captured all the data. This is, in the previous. Yeah. My next test case is fetch sample users. For this one, my prerequisite is open URL. I'm going to start my recording. Here we can see all the responses. Try it out. Yeah. Yeah. These API fetch all the users from the database, and we can verify. Yeah. First, for example, first name is Donna. It is given as a Donna. So this Donna is existing in the database or not, we can verify with the cross verify option. So if we click on the cross verify, it will asking the verification type. We have the multiple options. I'm choosing database. Yeah. it will show the default databases. I'm selecting one default database. Yeah, these all are already done, so it will be fetched automatically from the server. So here we can give our query, which one we need to execute. So selected ID, first name, last name from sample users, where email equal to something what you have given it at the time of registration. After giving all these details, I'm fetching my details from the DB. Yeah. So first name is Jonah, ID 71, last name is D'Souza. So I'm validating this one. I'm giving the database given this response. So I'm validating this response is mapping to this this value or not. So for that one, I have the validating rule. I'm validating my value with the operation, string operation, and the key, this key. So evaluate. Yeah. Value is Jonah, my first name is Jonah. So both greater than or equal, the result is match. Once the result is matched, it will be automatically selected as the pass. So in this way, we can verify the details from the captured screen and the database, both are same or not. Once it is done, I'm going to submit this test case to the server. Yeah. Now I'm stopping my record. I'm generating. Yeah, the Excel is generated. Yeah, this one. Yeah, I have recorded two test cases, open URL and fetch sample users. These are the requests, and this blue color indicates responses, and especially this color indicates as the cross verification. What we have done previously, this is in different color. We verified a cross item with the DONA, and the verification type is database, and the database results properties what we passed at the time of verification, and the mapping expression what we given at the time of verification. Yeah, next one is the action. Action means once the fail is done, we have the action. So now the test case is passed, so we don't have any action. So in this way, we can verify the elements what we captured from the scanner.
And let's execute it.
Yeah, I'm going to execute this one, selecting the tool. Yeah, I'm going to execute. Yeah, two test cases we have on the stock.
But I think you'll all agree with me. This is empowers the testers to get automated without too much effort, right? So you have automated test scripts running with minimal effort. If you're following the SDLC and you completed phases 1 and 2, then this is very, very, yeah, you're actually mapping all your test steps into your test matrix very, very easily.
Yeah, here we done the cross verification also. Yeah, cross verification with for DONA, and the database connection is passed. Everything is passed. I'm showing this is the log file.
Okay. Rakesh, we're running out of time, so let's do the backend demo and then we can take question and answers.
Sure. So now I'm going to show the P-square from the backend how it is going to be executed.
So in the first set of test cases when you're executing, it was invisible to you, but now if you want to see the actual steps being executed on the browser, so the backend you actually see the browser launch and you see it operating.
Yeah, here the execution server, the target will be reached here, and it trigger the script what we have in the server. Yeah,
So you see, so now it says Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. So you know it's real. It's not to pretend. So while this is running, are there any questions from the audience? If you raise your hand, Vera will let you in and then let you ask a question.
Or just better jump in and just ask it right away.
Yeah.
Yes, or if you are experiencing any issues with the sound, please type the questions in the chat.
George, does this, is this customizable to, say, to the client's environment? I mean, if there are any customizations needed.
Yeah, we will adapt AiTestPro to handle different customer variations. But in general, this should work out of the box for, I would say, 95% of the scenarios in the market today.
Okay. So does this integrate with a variety of systems like ERP, CRM?
Well, no, it doesn't integrate. You can test. So this is a
Okay.
testing tool. So this will be used to test the CRMs, test the ERPs, but we don't integrate with that. No.
Okay. Maybe, yeah, that is what actually I'm trying to find out. Like, we'll be able to test CRM, ERP using this tool, right?
Absolutely. Any web page. All web pages are par for the course.
Okay. And I see this is capturing the dynamic data. Like, I'm seeing that whole elements are captured.
Everything is captured and used to be cross-verified. And I think this is very important. Also coming up would be a feature where we actually do a spell check and give a notification that we found spelling errors, grammatical errors to the tester, so we can, even though it's not a high priority element, you are aware of what's happening and it red flags it to you. And if they want to fix it, you can start fixing it. That also goes for color. If the RGB, if your color codes are not correct, it gives you a warning saying, "Hey, color codes are not what was specified." So any look and feel or data that's incorrect is verified by the system. And more important, I think, is the cross verification is actually verify the data being presented is not being mangled in the presentation layer. It actually is true as per the database you have in the back end.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
once the backend execution is completed in the task dashboard, we can see the how many test cases we have executed, iteration, and the pass percentage, everything, and the final status of that uh, test cases. And the graphical representation we can see in the dashboard. 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。
Okay. 。 . 。 .
。 . 。 . 。 .
So as a manager, you're able to view all your projects in the company with the click of a button. You can see the number of iterations, number of failures, passes. You have a heat map. So say there are no failures in this case. So, but if there are failures in one particular area, it will show the heat map. It will show you a defect list. It will show you your test schedules. You can schedule a test for future runs, run it every day, run it every week, run it once a month. And assign users who are assigned to the project. You can also configure it to send your test report, execution reports to people that you would like to have know about the status of the projects. So we are over time actually. So anyone else have any questions or?
The chat is empty so far. Yeah, please ask your questions if you have any.
Sandra, what do you think? You've seen our first the model-based testing stuff 13 years ago, and what do you think of?
Yeah, hi, George. Yeah, it's quite the evolution. I was wondering what the back end of the test case generation was. Is it still the same?
No, this is idea by proprietary that we built. So everything you see is all built in house.
Okay.
There are no third parties involved in this.
Yeah, it's quite the. It looks like quite the latest technology in terms of deployment, and in regards to targeting markets for users, more web-based. I'm assuming also, is this also good for, say, iOS testing or
mobile testing?
Android? Yeah, mobile.
Yeah, yes, it is, but it's different. It's not a plugin. It's a different capturing mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
But the same concept. So we use different mechanisms to capture the data and then run the same backend.
And you're selling? Are you? Is this available like out of a box? You mentioned. Is it sold as a product or is it a service?
No, it's sold as a SaaS service, so you can buy it on a subscription basis, or you can have the whole thing installed on your company website, or sorry, on the company infrastructure, and you run it privately. So many companies would like to have this run privately, and then all the libraries updates are transferred to the company so that the artifacts are always current. You don't have to go and update steps over and over again. So once the artifacts are recorded, it's our job to update libraries, and the SaaS model covers the cost of keeping everything updated.
And there's no framework issues?
No, it works with all the latest releases are supported.
Because it's web-based?
Yeah.
It kind of simplifies it that way?
Oh, yeah. So basically, it makes it much simpler. It's only one place to manage all the libraries. So you don't have to update 15 different clients. It's only update one central server, and everybody is on the same page.
And when you sell it, as a SaaS, is it by user?
It's by user, by corporation. It depends on the company. So right now we're talking to customers who want a blanket license. So that's one price. And then it's also for smaller companies who want to take it on a project basis. They take it on a project basis. And they can say number of testers. So the different variables that go into the pricing model. And basically on the company, we discuss with them and we offer a very, very attractive price. And the key value is the ROI. Like you'll see, like what takes 12 hours is now done in 15 minutes. So that's the ROI, which is huge.
So can you like test a website by just loading a URL and
Yeah, loading URL, clicking. So we also have that option as a robot that will go to the entire web page, load automatically. But the important portion is linking is validating, but entering data. So you have to map data sets to be fed into it, and then cross-verifying, because like I said, the graphic representation may not be a realistic reflection of the database. Because when you get the data from the database, the graphic layer interprets the data and presents it in another way. And that's when you could get errors. So the cross-verification step is a very important step to be done for critical data. First name, last name, account balance, your security questions. So you should cross-verify it against the database to make sure these are equal and it's not getting mangled.
so when you have transactions, do you actually, how do you verify? Do you verify the transaction?
Yes, so the cross-verify will verify the transaction is completed in the database. Or, for example, if you had to have an attachment of your dental receipt, it'll verify the receipt that you uploaded is the same as that's stored on the server. It can go check through the logs to see the log. You can grep a log and see whether the logs reflect this. You can look into text files. You can verify using a different web service. Because if you remember, the cross-verify says verify this field by going to another web page, so you can verify on another web page. And most companies require that. They require that the data be cross-verified against another set of data, or in a different manner. Don't take the first instance to be gospel.
Yeah, so it looks great. I mean, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks. And nobody else have any questions?
So if there are no questions, maybe we are wrapping up this session.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, George.
Good.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
No. So thank you, Vera. Thank you for everyone for your time. And please, if you have any comments, you can send us an email either to myself or at contact@ideabytes.com, and we'll be happy to get back to you.
Yeah, we will get back to you. We will send the recording of the current session to you. And yeah, please stay tuned and yes, explore our range on our website. Yeah. If you have any further questions, please ask us also, right? And we will be happy to assist. So thank you again. Bye, everybody. Thank you, George, for your presentation.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your
Cheers.
presentation.
Bye.
Cheers.